You know, one thing I love about demons is that whenever they're in a story where they're not the main antagonist, they're always super petty. It's like they go, I can't kill anyone, so instead I'm going to spoil your milk and shave your eyebrows. Mwahahaha. Hello everyone, welcome to the Book Cafe. I'm Ryan. If this is your first time watching us, I recommend you subscribe. Today we're going to be reviewing an advanced copy of The Midnight Front by David Mack. The story is about a young man named Cade Martin on the eve of World War II, who attempts to leave England before the war moves from the continent, only for his family to get killed by, of all things, Nazi sorcerers wielding a sea monster. In order to get his revenge and help the Allies win the war on Europe, he joins the Midnight Front, a group of Allied demon binders who are attempting to counter the Nazis' supremacy in sorcery. However, in order to do any magic, one has to temporarily bind demons, which has a lot of nasty side effects. As the Midnight Front attempts to destroy the Thule Society and root out the German demon binders, they realize that even dealing with demons hasn't prepared them for the realities of war, or for the evil that the Nazis have begun. And this book is well written. It's solid. The writing is quick, it's paced well, it doesn't call attention to itself, but it's continually driving the plot forward. Feels like a freight train. And this is an author who particularly knows how to use tension. Considering that the story centers on about 5 characters stretched out over a 5-year timeline, there's a lot of room for them to get knocked down, crippled, sent into comas, generally taken out of the fight, and the author uses that very well, so that every setback actually feels catastrophic. And there's a small enough cast that when people die, you really feel it. The main character doesn't start off particularly special as main characters go. He's an average dude who happens to be better than most with magic. The thing that I feel really sets him apart is once he becomes an army ranger. Up until that point, the really interesting characters are the rest of the Midnight Front, all of whom have great backstories, compelling reasons to be in this war, and they really make you care about them. Which is actually really well done, because they carry the book until the point where the main character is able to do so himself. They're sort of removed from the board once it becomes his story. It's a really well done way of moving from an ensemble to a primary hero. Now, this book is dark. It does not shy away from the brutality of war. One of the things I keep going back to is comparing these kinds of books to Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones is most people's benchmark for the brutal, dark kind of fantasy. The thing is, Game of Thrones is as brutal as it is because most of the characters are stupid. Which is not a commentary on the books, it's a commentary on the genre itself, but Game of Thrones characters are supposed to be dumb. Whatever else you think about her, Cersei Lannister is not very good at planning ahead. What makes The Midnight Front different from most brutal books I've read is that every character is intelligent. They don't walk in expecting to be romantic heroes. This is a war. They are spies. And while each of them happens to be a weapon of mass destruction, they're not immune to bullets, and they know that. And beyond that, there's this really interesting realpolitik going on, in which all of these conflicting decisions make sense from the viewpoint that they're made from. The Allied forces in the Midnight Front can't trust each other, and watching the fallout from that friction, and the fallout from that friction is really believable, and it works really well. The main villains, who are the sorcerers who are basically using the Nazis to advance entirely different ends, actually have a really great argument. And the only actually dumb people, who are the real monsters of the piece, are the Nazis themselves. And the book doesn't shy away from showing the horror and brutality of what the Nazis were doing, to the point where the Nazis' own demon binders, and even the demons themselves, are kind of horrified. It's a book with a lot of good people who are driven entirely too far by a world that's just too dangerous, where survival sometimes means you have to do terrible things. And it's presented really well. Overall, I would rate this book at Buy It New. It has some flaws, but not enough to stop it from being extremely good. I particularly loved it. I'm definitely looking forward to the second book, although I have no idea where it's going next. Based on how it ended, I think it's going to get even more complicated, which is pretty fun. But yeah, if you like dark fantasy, you should absolutely check this out. It's a great book, and you will definitely enjoy it. And even if you don't like dark fantasy, this might still have something for you. If you're interested, the link is below. Did you enjoy this video? Make sure to show it by clicking the like button, clicking here to subscribe, or here to watch more videos like this from the Book Cafe. We've got one more advanced reader's copy coming up. I'll probably be done with that next week. But until then, read good fantasy.